All right, picture this. You steal $17.3 million in cash, load it into a van, and drive off into the night. Boom! You've just pulled off one of the biggest cash heists in US history. You're basically a criminal mastermind, except you immediately start spending the money like an idiot. Like, bro, did you really just buy a mansion, jewelry, and a Rolex for your dog? Meanwhile, the FBI is literally sitting there eating popcorn, watching you incriminate yourself. This is the hilarious, ridiculous, and completely insane true story of the Loomis Fargo heist. And trust me, it only gets worse. Oh, and by the way, $11 million of that money still missing, so if you find it, hit me up. This is David Ghantt. He's not some criminal genius. He's just a regular dude working at Loomis Fargo, a cash vault company in Charlotte, North Carolina. His job? Move millions of dollars in and out of the vault every single day. And here's the thing, he's broke. Every day, this guy is literally handling mountains of cash, and at the end of his shift, he's driving home in his 1990s beater car, heating up a frozen burrito for dinner. And then enters Kelly Campbell. Kelly is his former coworker, and David absolutely simping for her. So one day Kelly, knowing that David would do anything for her, hits him with, "Hey David, what if we just, I don't know, steal all that money?" David, a man whose brain is apparently set to airplane mode, goes, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea." Spoiler alert, it was not a great idea. So now David and Kelly are in, but they need backup. Enter Steve Chambers, a guy who looks and acts like a 2-bit mafia reject. Steve is the mastermind, and I'm using that term very loosely. Together they come up with the perfect heist. David, the guy with the vault access, loads up a company van with millions in cash. He drives off like it's GTA. He hides in Mexico while Steve and Kelly handle the money. Everyone gets rich, no one gets caught, and they live happily ever after. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I don't know. Maybe everything. October 4th, 1997. It's go time. David waltzes into the vault, grabs stacks of cash, and starts loading them into a Loomis Fargo van. And here's the first problem. He gets greedy. Like, really greedy. He takes way too much money. Like 2,700 pounds of cash. That's literal tons of money. The van is so packed, the doors barely close. But does David rethink his life choices? No. He hops in and drives off into the night. He ditches the van at a drop-off point where Steve and his crew are waiting, and the cash gets moved into multiple vehicles. Then David, thinking he's a free man, hops on a bus to Mexico. So David is in Mexico, living it up with his share of the cash, about $50,000, thinking he's untouchable. Meanwhile, back in North Carolina, his partners immediately start acting suspicious. Steve Chambers, the so-called criminal mastermind, does the one thing you should never do after a heist: spend money like an absolute moron. Buys a $635,000 mansion, pays for it in cash, buys a BMW Z3, throws stacks of cash into a bank account like he's in a rap video. Oh, and tells the bank teller, "Don't worry, this isn't drug money," because that's totally not suspicious. Meanwhile, Steve's wife is on a shopping spree that would make Jeff Bezos jealous. Jewelry, designer clothes, Rolex watches. She even buys a freaking Gucci diaper bag for their baby. Like, guys, do you even know how crime works? And here's the best part. They forget to pay David his cut. So now David, the guy who actually stole the money, is broke in Mexico. And then Steve decides to really make things messy. He hires a hitman to take David out before he can snitch. But surprise, surprise, that plan also fails. Meanwhile, the FBI is just sitting back, watching this train wreck unfold. At first they had shade, they have no idea who did it. But then, Steve starts flashing his new wealth like a human billboard for "I definitely committed a crime." So the FBI starts tapping phones, and that's when they hit the jackpot. Steve and his gang literally confess on the phone. And then, when they find out about the hitman plan, they're like, "Yeah, we should probably arrest these morons now." So on March 1st, 1998, the FBI swoops in. David Ghantt, arrested in Mexico while eating tacos. Steve Chambers, dragged out of his mansion in handcuffs. Kelly Campbell, busted. Everyone else involved, locked up. David Ghantt gets 7 years in prison, which, honestly, could have been worse. Steve Chambers, 11 years behind bars. Kelly Campbell, 6 years. And the FBI recovers most of the money, except for $11 million that is still missing. Yeah, somewhere out there, there's a hidden stash of 1990s cash just waiting to be found. So if you happen to dig up a giant bag of old money, don't tell the FBI, but call me first. So what have we learned today? If you're going to steal $17.3 million, maybe don't immediately go out and buy a freaking mansion with cash. If you rob a vault, make sure your friends aren't complete morons. And most importantly, if you find $11 million buried somewhere, don't be stupid. And that, my friends, is the legendary stupidest heist in US history. If you enjoyed this, slam that like button. Hit subscribe for more wild real-life heists and tell me in the comments, what's the first thing you'd buy if you found $11 million? See you in the next one.